Yo, salute. Well, welcome to this segment of Open Topics with Armando. I'm your host. So, what's on people's minds tonight? I just want to know because this is just an impromptu stream that I'm doing. Hey, salute 22 Ronin. How you doing? Yeah. Yeah, I gotta go check my sound. Okay, I hear it. So, anybody's asking, anybody who's living in the United States, who do you think is gonna win? Trump with the new sneakers or Biden who sleeps? All right, so we got four viewers. Hit the like button. So therefore I could go up. All right. So right now, as I said, this is an impromptu stream. So tonight, we're just gonna talk about anything and everything. We're gonna talk about yeah, I did, but a lot of people on the internet have said that he actually held it down because he was on punching back, and none of those guys really did anything to him. But then again, they were saying that with Cam Newton, I'm just saying from the comments that I've seen and such under his video, that they actually disrespected him in his own town. But they said that he fought back good, and these guys didn't even do that much damage to him that they wanted to, even though it was like maybe 4 or 5 guys from what I saw in the video. It looked like that this week I made somebody mad because I posted a picture with me and my wife. So they decided to go on a fake page and try to insult my wife and everything like that. I remind you, this is a man. I mean, if you really look at it, it just goes to show you the Cam Newton incident and everything that we actually have haters in this world. People who may not understand you, people who are too ignorant to understand your vision, or they think that off of an emotional slight, it is what it is. I respect that. Originally, I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna show whatever. I'm just a happy guy, just a normal guy. And then the next thing you know, I get doxxed and everything else just because of certain people that don't know how to hold their emotions. So, and then sometimes even if you don't show anything online, these guys will still try to look into you and everything like that. So it depends on who's going to be a doxer and everything like that, Ronan, because these guys are determined. They got no lives, so therefore they'll do anything. Gigi could tell you she never went up and posted anything, but a creep keeps going around and harassing her and other content creators, even if they don't show anything. So if you do show, if you don't show, you got a lot of these creeps who are online that they will actually try to find out who you are, and they'll even go as far as harassing your own family members. With that said, enough about that creep. But with that said, I guess we're living like in a world of hatred because you have certain people who live in ethnic hatred and personal hatred over stuff that you never really did. For example, I have a friend, which I'm not going to name. A lot of men hate my friend because of females that actually show him love and respect. So a lot of men hate that. When the fact is, half the time, the men who are actually showing this jealousy towards my friend, they're not even in a relationship with the woman, let alone they're not even friends with the woman. They just hate that a lot of women gravitate towards my friend because he's just a genuine guy. With that said, you have certain people who are just who have, I guess, hate in their blood or jealousy in their blood because of what a man is. I mean, I can't hate on the next man when I was single, right? I couldn't hate on the next man that had more girls than me. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not him and I'm me. If I'm not doing anything right, I guess I'll improve myself. But then again, certain people don't think about that. They'll think that, oh, I'm going to hate on this guy. I'm going to do everything in my power to make this guy's life miserable just because of a perceived thing that this guy has over me. And then sometimes, from what I've learned in this life, you could have people who have all the riches, all the fame, and all the prestige and whatnot, and they will still try and try to low blow your efforts or try to gaslight what you're actually trying to do. So in order you can fall. So therefore, you know that you're special when you have certain people who are of good social standing trying to wish for your downfall. With that said, sometimes it's in the mind, and if people want to act like that, let's put it like this. A lot of people don't own the world. A lot of people don't own, and a lot of people that will hate you, 9 times out of 10, will not own a lot of real estate. So, with that said, their perceived hatred of you, or they're trying to make sure that you do not succeed in life. Yeah, you could wonder why, but then guess what? At the end of the day, if you just keep it pushing, just pray, everything will actually work out at the end. And I could say that I'm living proof of this. And salute to Gigi, by the way. Tomorrow I'm going to have a segment which is called "Who Are the Colos Part 2." So Part 1 was actually last year, where I actually displayed on who are the Cocolos of Dominican Republic. So it was me, Johnny Appleseed, and my friend Elizabeth that we were actually talking about the history of the Cocolos in the Dominican Republic. So, yeah, trust me, Ronan. I mean, I've had problems or whatsoever, but the thing is, though, it never really came through Kokomos. Okay, nah, Cocolos, meaning that were English settlers that English or people who came from the British Islands at the time, which is now considered the West Indies, that came to Dominican Republic for work under the American sugarcane factories. What happened is that they stayed there and they actually had families and they assimilated into the Dominican culture. So they've had children that have actually contributed to Dominican society as far as baseball, politics, and business. But then certain people will try to downplay the achievements of Los Cocolos in the Dominican Republic because either they have a Trujillista view or they have a Hispanista view of what they want Dominican Republic to be. When the fact is, some of these guys who actually have these views are not actually doing nothing for their countrymen, but yet they're just spouting ideas without no action. So check that out tomorrow because I'm going to have a lot of people on my panel. So therefore, we could actually talk about it, you know, promote history, promote positivity, and also my main focus on this chat tomorrow is to promote knowledge. Because without knowledge, a lot of people could go around and be waved in ignorance. And the fact is, if you have knowledge of something, you can move accordingly and hopefully respectfully. I mean, I can't really say about uniting. I mean, people could actually unite like in commerce front, but as far as other stuff, it's like certain people cannot really unite because their cultures are distinctive. I mean, yep, expert trolls is out there. I mean, it would have been united. It was united when it was under, I guess, Spanish rule. But I wish that all the Caribbean was actually united as in a commercial front, so therefore they could actually provide better lives for its citizens without the United States politics, because we have a lot of educated people, but there's a lot of corruption in those places because of American and European interests. So my thing is that I wish that all governmental corruption would stop, so therefore at least people could actually live their lives and be self-sustaining. But then again, there's corruption, there's money, and it's a whole bunch of hurdles that people actually have to get to. But then when they actually come to the United States and they see how it is, sometimes certain people within the Caribbean and Latin American countries, they could actually have an American mindset, but then sometimes if they don't, because if they have too much of an American mindset, I guess to govern their countries, 9 times out of 10, the powers that be will try to actually take a leader out or something like that. But that's my view about it, my opinion.
Hey, Don. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, how was your Valentine's Day?
Hey, it was good. How you doing, Don?
I'm doing all right. I'm just having an impromptu stream. Tomorrow I'm about to have a stream so about, well, I'm putting the stream tomorrow because it's the Dominican Independence Day. So therefore I like doing the stream
Okay.
like maybe once a year about it.
Okay, that's cool. I'll be interested in looking at that and seeing what the exact history is and getting more educated. I just wanted to pull up and show you some support and hit your link. And I did share your stream. I'm loyal. We keeps it
Exactly.
real around these parts.
Of course, GG. So other than that, my Valentine's Day was good, and me and the wife, we actually ate at a Mexican restaurant. We're
I
just
love Mexican.
I mean, yeah. And then the shrimps was big too. So therefore when I actually bought the leftover in my job, they was like, yo, where you got those shrimps from? They're big. I'm like, yeah, you have to go to the joint called Sueños on so and so in Philly. By the way,
Okay.
I'm doing this free promotion. If anybody goes to Philadelphia, you got to go to this restaurant called Sueños.
Okay. Okay.
So let's see what else. So how's everything on your end? How's like the streams and everything like that going for you?
Well, everything's going well. I haven't really been doing streams lately. I've been more so focusing on doing videos to build my channel. Just kind of getting out of the drama a little bit and just focus on actually making content.
Yeah,
Um, I
yeah,
felt like that was better for me at this time.
I've been doing that too. It's like last week or 2 weeks ago, I actually posted on a video about the Chinese New Year in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And, like there was a festival, and then there was the actual thing in Chinatown. So as soon as I edit these videos that I actually have on my that I actually have on my laptop. I'm gonna release the second part of what I recorded in Chinatown.
Oh, okay. So
So
I visited New York once and I absolutely loved Chinatown. I must say I loved it. And I definitely got me a little couple knockoff bags and all of that. I loved it.
oh yeah, I mean yeah, it was like that. But this is actually within the Philadelphia Chinatown, which is I guess is smaller. But the
Oh, okay.
thing
So you
is,
guys got a Chinatown as well. Okay.
yeah, I mean it's like okay, like for some reason it's like when I was in Boston, I was like, yo, babe, to my wife, I was like, yo, babe, let's go to the Chinatown out there. So it was like some of the restaurants that we have in the Philadelphia Chinatown in Boston, in the Boston's Chinatown, they actually have some of these similar restaurants also. Like it's a chain, like you could actually say this is a Chinatown um chain or something like that you
So
only
do you
find in
prefer
Chinatown.
Boston or Philly?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. When I went to Boston, I loved Boston on how clean it was.
It looks so
I,
beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, and then on top of it, the restaurants too. They had what's this guy? Gordon Ramsay had like a restaurant out there. I mean, the wife ate it. Best burgers ever.
Okay.
And then I actually posted a video of when me and my wife was in the trolley. So therefore, I'm trying to do some. I'm not going to say that I'm actually an expert, but I'm trying to actually make like a travel. Um, I'm trying to
Like a
actually
travel
do
vlog?
travel also, a travel vlog or something like that, which
Yeah,
I'm not going
travel
to
vlog.
really do. Yeah, of the trips and everything. So that's why I'm actually uploading and trying to edit videos and such, so I
That
could
makes
do
sense
that.
because it seems like you guys travel a lot and you go to Dominican Republic and different places, so that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, it's like I went to the Dominican Republic and it was like, okay, I went there last year.
Hey,
I
Boricua.
Hey introvert. It was like I went there, I had a good time, but then those videos that I recorded, but I didn't really edit it. So I might do that.
Okay,
So
okay.
therefore, I might put that as content.
Hit the link, Boricua. Sorry, Don, I'm listening. I was just telling introvert to hit the link.
Yeah,
No, I think travel vlogs is really good for your channel or whatever because like I said, you do travel a lot, you know what I mean? And ultimately people sit online and like to look at things that they're not experiencing themselves. You know what I mean?
exactly. I mean, hopefully, I guess when I get a lot of stuff done and stuff this year, hopefully, me and my wife will actually go back and travel. But then again, we don't know where we're gonna go. If we're gonna go to Mexico or we're gonna go to Asia or something like that.
Don,
So
is your
it's up in
wife
there.
Dominican?
Yes, she is. She's
Okay.
Dominican American, just like me.
Okay, okay. Did you guys meet over here or did you meet her in the Dominican? Are you a passport bro? Or did you meet her in New York? or Philly?
It was like between New York and Philly because my wife, she actually was born here just like myself, but her family is from the Dominican Republic.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So does it resonate with you the passport bros type of content or like do you feel as a Dominican American, do you feel more um what's the word? Loyalty to like the Dominican Republic or to America as a Dominican American? Just curious.
I mean, as a Dominican American, I would feel both.
Okay. I feel
But
you. Cuz it's
but
kind of like no matter where you're from, your nationality, but when it comes down to it, like as Americans, we're gonna like link up and be, you know, united regardless as Americans, right?
right. But then at the same time, I'm not gonna go around and disrespect the culture of my parents because that's who I am. That's the values that I've grew up with and everything like that.
Hmm.
And I could say that makes me on who I am.
Well, isn't that part of
And
the American culture of taking from your culture of whatever homeland of whatever you come from and kind of mixing it with that American experience? That really is the American experience, right? Like in general.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It,
because we're a melting pot. Hmm.
it is because sometimes it depends, I guess, on a personal thing. Because I was talking
Hey,
with the
Jose.
Asian colleague of mine, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes they feel of the American culture, but then they'll be like, okay, they feel more of they feel more of their culture, but at the same time, they feel more Americanized because of certain cultural norms that they're not used to.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, okay, and I'm not saying for all Asians, I'm just saying for some. You have certain people that they'll be like, okay, I would not actually go and date somebody within their culture because of the cultural norms that they don't like. Okay.
Hmm.
Hey Jose, how you doing?
Well, good evening, Donna Mama. Thank you for allowing me on your platform. Good evening, Gigi.
Hey, Jose. How you
So,
Yeah.
doing?
yeah,
I'm gonna
So
check out your stream later as well. How you doing?
thank you. Yeah, I'm just doing my thing. I did saw your video earlier today. As always, you do a great job. There's some
Thank.
things we're going to disagree with, but that's perfectly fine.
I know. Why didn't you leave your comment disagreeing with me, Jose? Every comment helps the algorithm.
Okay, but look, I'm going to state this: both guys suck,
And yeah,
both.
I feel you. Hmm.
Okay, and the only way that we're going to address this problem is we're going to have a viable third party system. Okay, because until it's until it's just two parties, it's just basically we're forever picking the lesser of two evils, and that's not a real democracy. Well, then again, this is not a
Hey,
democracy.
Irby.
I mean,
Sorry,
when it
Jose, I'm
comes,
listening. You know I be saying hi to everybody in the background.
No, it's okay.
yeah, when it comes to like politics and everything like that, it's like politics changed from when I was a kid till now, right? Like like you saw Democrats and Republicans, they had a disagreement on things, but they never really took it to the point that now
It's crazy.
that they're having violence.
Yeah.
Like when we saw violence, right?
Do you believe that the Democrats stole the election last time? Honestly, Don, just curious.
Is this right? I don't know. It's like I can't really say that they did, and I can't really
Yeah.
say that they didn't because you know why?
Mhm.
Because both parties they actually have shady dealings. And then when
You're
it
both
comes to
correct.
and then on top of it, when it comes to third party candidates that do not want to go with the two party system, two of these parties will actually go. They'll actually unite. So therefore, the third party candidate will not get will not get no credence or no how should I say no or nobody trying to back them because of because of the two party system. I mean, if you actually look at it, you have some people who could be viable third party, but then the only thing that I could see that the third parties they don't really have is an agenda or financial support. Let's say for instance, a person who had Elon Musk type wealth, right? And there was to go and support a third party or a third candidate whatsoever. Then it will be interesting I guess, the political landscape. Maybe then if the third parties have more Senate seats, and then they'll try to do what's good for America or whatsoever.
Do you think that the independent parties really have no chance because they don't have as much money and financial backing as the Republican and Democratic parties?
Yes, and then on top of it, you got to understand that most of the independent parties that I've seen, they don't really take uptake to the rural people too. Because think about it, Republicans, right? When you actually have a lot of rural support, I'm talking about as far as um, farmers and everything like that, you would actually see you will actually see a surge of third party candidate support. So therefore, if you actually look at the independent parties, I'm not saying or the Green Party or Independent Party, most of these parties are just into cities. They're not really talking to the suburban population, and they're not really talking to the rural population. If they were, they might have some foothold. But since they don't really have a foothold in the rural populations or whatsoever, or how you would call the Bible Belt, and then they only have like a certain foothold in certain cities, but yet they do not have any seats. They're just like a nameless party until I guess they'll have more financial backing. And if they do, they might be a powerful contender against the two party system. But
But
That's why I
until
know you
then,
saw our last video, but we figured we would do a little bit of political commentary, whether you agree or disagree, because, we're all here for discourse, but just to kind of shake it up a little bit and talk about something different around.
yeah,
yeah,
well, I mean, within the last hundred since 1900, there's only been two elections where the third party candidate got a significant number of electoral votes.
Oh, wow.
1912, where the Progressive Party gained about 88 electoral votes, and 1968, where now the name just escaped me. Um, this Crispin was the former governor of Alabama, got like about 46 votes. I mean, unfortunately, you had a progressive in 1912 and a racist and a segregationist in 1968. Those are the really two times within 1900 where a third party candidate got a significant number of electoral votes. And now, with the way the system is rigged today, unfortunately, the Democrat and Republican parties, they're going to do everything that they can not allow third parties to be viable, because once third party becomes viable, that means people will have a real choice. And Democrats and Republicans do not like this. And there's also a great deal of hypocrisy, particularly among the Democratic Party. I mean, they're talking so much about reproductive rights. They had from 1973 to 2022 to codify in the Constitution reproductive rights.
Yeah, we get
And they
that
had
already, but it doesn't take away from the fact. We get that already. That point's been made, but it doesn't take away from the fact of what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And unfortunately, everybody has a different idea of what's right and of what's
absolutely.
wrong. And I guess we also didn't know in the 2020s that we had to go back and solidify every fucking right that we've had coming up this far.
And you know something, the last Republican that had any type of morals was John McCain.
yes, I agree with that
Well,
And
and
it
that
because
was
hold on, that's a personal opinion. That's
I
that
mean, you
that's
know
not a
what's fun?
fact.
Okay,
okay. I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna explain and provide justification for why. In one of his
all
rallies,
right,
in one of his rallies, he had to address some of his supporters, talking about that they should fear Barack Obama, that he was a Muslim, that he was not American. And then John McCain had to put these people straight. He said, no, Barack Obama is a decent person. It's just that we have disagreements over policy. We can disagree, but I mean, when was the
Yeah,
last time you?
there's a lot of people that don't like John McCain, so that's why I just said it was a personal opinion
I
because he doesn't.
understand that, and
Yeah,
we can agree to disagree. It's
I don't
just
know if
that
I
All right.
disagree that he was a bad person, but I'm just saying as far as him being the only one with any, I would say that that's an opinion.
well, we can
I
say
mean,
he's
I
one of
mean,
the.
this is my thing about John McCain because I seen him and everything like that, and rest in peace to him. Because okay, maybe in politics he might have been terrible or anything like that, but then if you really look at it, right? If you really look at it, right? I mean, he was a soldier, he was a POW,
Respect, respect,
and then on top of it, he did go around and serve the United States. I
respect,
mean,
respect.
in the army. So my thing is that with all that said, certain people will try to say, okay, beside when it comes to race or whatsoever, oh yeah, you're a coon or a loon or a sellout or something like that.
Hold on, Don.
But the,
So you did see my video then? That's why you said that?
oh no,
Oh,
I
okay, never
didn't.
mind.
I didn't
Because we were
see it
talking about
because
that, how people call people coons just because they don't have the same political affiliations or ideologies that they have.
I mean, if you were to look at it, I'm just actually talking about of what I've seen within the last 8 years on how certain things progress. Like for example, you would see like in the African American community and some Hispanic communities, right? That they'll actually go and they'll go as far as calling a person of their own race or culture a traitor just because they will not support the same candidate that they do. And I've seen this time and time again. So I'm like, okay, so what makes that person a traitor? Because they go against your best interest, or we should go and have a party that we all should blindly follow when the fact is at the end when they use your votes 9 times out of 10 they do nothing for you, but yet they go around they want the most for you when it comes voting time. So therefore I'm not saying this for any party. I'm just because I've seen both parties do this, and most of the times I have seen that most of these parties they actually use certain people who are not African American or Latino, and they do this for I guess political clout or whatever. They'll use a person that that might have that might be an immigrant. They might have got their citizenship for a vote or something like that. And then when it's done and stuff, after they get their votes, they do not even benefit the people.
hmm And Skelly Tom says that he has a predictive mind that and Haley will know that she's guaranteed to be the next president. The only reason why she would have the mindset that she would be guaranteed anything is because she would already know that they were corrupt and they have already promised her something. Other than that, who knows? But I'm to the point now where I have not that much like confidence in our voting system that I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of believe that they put whoever they want to be in there regardless of the votes.
Yeah, and I've seen this time and time again when it comes to not only when it's the presidential election, but I'm talking about when it's mayoral elections and gubernatorial elections. So, like for example, you have like a Republican telling when they see certain stuff that goes into the city, is to be like, oh well you went up and and elected them. When the fact is, there's certain people they might have not elected at all.
What do you guys think about that? About undocumented or quote unquote illegal immigrants having the right to vote? I'm curious to what both of you guys think about that.
As okay, as a Latino that actually service these people, okay, I have a huge problem, and I'm Latino myself. I think if you want to be part of the election process, you need to become a citizen. Okay, it's like me going to the Dominican Republic. Okay,
And having a say.
expecting the right
Yeah.
to vote, but yet I'm not going through the process to gain citizenship.
Or
Because the
pay
fact
into
of
the
the matter
system.
is, with U.S. citizenship, there's a lot of advantages, but there's a lot of responsibilities that goes along with it. So when you allow people who are not citizens, whether it be undocumented or resident, whatever you, it cheapens the power and basically, in my opinion, uh, put in vain all those that died for us to have the privilege to vote.
Exactly.
Now, some
So what
people
do
are
you
going
guys
to,
think about them letting those people have been saying, "Oh, it's just a conspiracy. It's just a conspiracy." They are letting these people in and giving them the right to vote. And why do you think that they're allowing them to do so? Because those people are going to vote upon obviously their best interests, right? Which might go against the majority of the American vote.
All right, so therefore, this is why I think that it's bad and then it's good. Because let's put it like this: like a lot of people, when it comes to migrants and everything like that, the only reason that they're calling migrants, and let's be honest, right? When it comes to okay, Europe, people who are from Europe and stuff, they will not use the term migrants. It seems
I
that
would. I
it
would.
seems it seems when it's actually about European immigration to the United States or Canada, they don't call them migrants because some of these countries are actually first world countries or they're well-to-do countries, right? I'm not saying all, some. And even when it comes to Eastern European countries, they don't really call these people migrants. So when it comes to some Asians, some Central and South American countries, and when it comes to African countries, this is where instead of saying immigrants, we just call them migrants because I'm not saying all, but you don't really see it, the word migrants being thrown around when it's European
Well, they're not
immigration
immigrants.
to
They
you.
are migrants. They're just walking
Yeah,
over the border.
exactly. So therefore, when you see that, and they'll be like, "Oh, from what I've been reading, oh, they're of military age and all this stuff." Okay, so if they're of military age, and you need so much soldiers. Why don't you go around and say this? Okay, if you want to have your citizenship, we're going to teach you how to fight. So therefore, you could have loyalty to the United States. But certain people
See,
don't
that
think
makes
about
sense.
that.
Yeah,
But
that
then
makes
certain
sense.
But then certain people don't think about that because they're either thinking on a racial or a classist view of people. And then when certain incidents happens, like not all, but some of the migrants who are just coming here for a better life, and then some people are just coming in because of whatsoever. One thing what a lot of people have never said in the media is that Nicolas Maduro went up and did a Castro move. And I'm going to explain to you why I say this. Most of the people who are from Venezuela coming who are migrants, right? Everybody says, "Oh yeah," everybody say they're the worst of the migrants or whatsoever. Okay, so the situation in Venezuela, I'm not going to really talk about it because I know something about it, but not all of it. So I'm not going to go around and talk about it unless I get more knowledge on it.
Yeah,
But
they're coming here
what I'm,
too due to lack of opportunities in food and all of
yeah,
that stuff as well. Yeah.
but the thing is though, what I'm trying to say is when it comes to the Venezuelan migrants that have come here, I mean, not all, because some of them they just try to work and have the American dream. But when I'm telling you that Maduro went up and did a Castro move, is that he let all the worst of the worst criminals out of or the worst of the worst criminals escaped the Venezuelan prisons, and they joined the migrants who are really actually sincerely trying to make a better life for themselves or whatsoever. So they're either going they're either going to Argentina or they're going to Chile, which a lot of people say that they have a problem too, but they're not really talking about it. So basically, we're talking about them crossing over the border to the US, and some might be even crossing the border to Canada. Let's be serious.
Yeah, I
So
think it's there eventually.
so with that said, when you use the term, when you actually see the stuff that's going on, the Venezuelan migrants fighting police, then letting off, they're booming around and everything like that. Because you can't really use certain words on YouTube, so therefore that's why I'm saying they're booming around and everything like that. And you seeing it on television. A lot of people are trying to take it out on all the Venezuelan migrants. No, this is why Maduro went up and did the Castro move of letting all the worst of the worst criminals out of the prisons, or they escaped prison, so therefore they could actually be in the United States. So if you actually look at the people who are actually criminally insane and everything like that, those are the ones who are actually acting disrespectfully towards fellow Americans and whatnot, because they don't know any better, because they just came out of the prison. They're either institutionalized. And this is just how shall I say, deja vu when it came to certain Cubans. When Castro went up and let the worst of the worst, the criminally insane, the insane on the Mario boats to the United States, right? So therefore, that caused, I guess, a societal problem. Now we're seeing a societal problem now in certain cities, thanks to Maduro letting out the insane and the criminally insane out of his country. That's why I'm saying that Maduro did a Castro move.
Okay, so before I jump down, I just want to ask both of you guys before I go. Since you brought that up, Don, do you not see that there might be an issue of letting in a huge group of males that are military age, that can fight, that can either go for or against us into this country, while they are leaving their women and children at home, and we are giving them housing and food and every other thing for their um, existence?
Um,
I don't,
so I said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it again. We have botched this whole situation from day one. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we didn't have, first of all, we didn't have any strategy to deal with these people. We didn't have any strategy as far as vetting these people. We didn't have any strategy making sure that no one state, whatever, got overloaded. And we need, if we had some sort of strategy of vetting, some sort of way that, okay, you're letting a certain number of people and that's it. You wouldn't be in a situation like cities like New York and Philadelphia, Chicago, and Los Angeles are going bloody broke trying to house these people. Okay.
But do you guys see
Unfortunately,
the issue with young men that are young and strong and
okay,
able to fight,
that's
fleeing their
well,
homeland and leaving their families and coming here instead?
that's what, because part of it is because we're not vetting these people. That's the problem. But the fact of the matter is, and this is something that I don't think it ever dawned on the powers that be, which is letting all these military age men into this country, they can just as easily turn against us.
all
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my thing. They could easily turn against us and everything like that. And then, if you really look at it, a lot of the military, a lot of the military age men, I I'm saying because if you really look at it, you have certain people who are actually they're just how should I say,
And they're not just
it's not only the
Latinos, they're Africans, they're Arabs,
they're Arabs, and they're now
yeah,
coming in because of the Darien Pass. And you've even
exactly.
seen Chinese people
Mm-hmm.
actually crossing the Darien Pass to the United States. So at first, when it was like, okay, you might have had like Mexican and Central Americans that was coming, but now they're actually coming in droves. So therefore, you don't know who is the enemy, and you don't know
Facts.
who's actually going to who actually has a a central reason on what they being there. So
Facts.
therefore, it is for concern. But then when you actually trying to focus on that topic only and everything, technically you have certain people who are from Europe who are military age, and they could be against you too. But yet they're just focusing on the other people who are not
Yeah, but the
who are,
problem is, Don,
who
is
are
that
not from European
the
descent.
terrorists are sneaking in with the Latinos. It's not necessarily the Latino. The whole problem is they're giving Latinos a bad name, like because they're sneaking in with them. Is my whole point. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, they're
It's
not.
not
Well,
about really the Latinos. I don't think Latinos are coming here to turn against America. For what? I've never met a Latino that's like deaf to America, but I have met Arabs that think that way. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, and and the thing is, though, I've met certain
And
people,
Africans as well.
and I've met certain Europeans because you have certain Europeans that 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 are from Eastern Europe that they either blame America for their politics actually shutting down or for the corruption and stuff. So therefore, there's a lot of levels, but yet a lot of people do not want to focus on the European hate that the Americans get, but yet they want to focus on the Africans and the Middle Easterns and such because of
But Don, don't
the
you think it's
security
a little
threat.
bit disingenuous to say, but what about the whites? But what about the whites? I mean, let's be realistic here. The whites aren't trying to take us down. Okay? The European
Right.
countries aren't coming for America because they also are democratic countries. Like it's literally
But not
countries that are
but what I'm trying to say is
communist
that
or
but what I'm trying to say is that some of the countries are so corrupt, right? I'm not saying all. I'm saying some of the people who actually come, well, like I guess from the Eastern European countries, depending on what it is, certain people, they actually have a hatred for America because of either their political system or their religious beliefs. So therefore, when we're talking about terrorism, right? A lot of people are actually discounting that you have certain regions in Europe that they actually follow Islam. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, when you see that they follow Islam, what certain Americans that have served in the armed first forces, what they deal with and everything like that, they might have a knowledge of who is coming through. But then a regular Joe Schmo in the United States may not know what it is, and there might be a person that might I guess to look like a European, or they could have features of a regular American, and they will not even know that person would be Muslim unless they speak. So
I
therefore,
agree with
that's
you
what
to
I'm.
some extent. I feel like the religious differences are like the main threat more so than just like the political. So I agree with you to some extent. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Because a
because
lot of people feel like as Americans, as being in America, this is Babylon and it's prophecy for us to fall. And a lot of people want to see that happen.
Well, I mean, we can discuss until Doomsday regarding that, but I think part of the issue is they see what's happening in social media, they see what's in the news and what have you, and to some people, it's disgusting. Okay, we know that not every American act this way. Unfortunately, there is a perception that Americans are arrogant. Americans have no morals, which we know that there are many more Americans here in this country. Okay, but unfortunately, that is the perception. I mean, and again, unfortunately, there's a term called the ugly American, which basically states that that they're arrogant, that they when they go visit another country, that they expect things to to function as things in the United States, and it's part of it is because
And we
they
can't
don't.
even really disagree with that, right? We are entitled as Americans. I mean, I see them on social media. It's an embarrassment. Let's be honest. Yeah.
What's up,
Well,
everyone? Can I
good
respond to
evening,
something?
maybe.
Hey, Irby. You made a
Well,
good
I've
point
been
of our national security being at risk. You were
Hey,
absolutely right.
Irby.
It's been at risk
Yeah,
for a
I
long time.
wanted to respond to Don what he said about the European country. The European country, for the most part, do not hate us, other than probably the Russians, and that's the Russian government. The Russian people do not hate
Yeah.
us.
And
No,
guess
we're
what?
not.
When Trump
You
was
were.
in
We're not.
office, we were cool with the Russians. Let's not
We're not.
forget that.
We're not talking about the per se the Russians, Irby. We're talking about the other regions. We're talking about Eastern Europe, because Eastern Europe is not only Russia. I'm talking about like Bosnia. I'm talking about Serbia and everything like that. So when I'm talking about like you have certain people who actually do not like us, we have to talk about that. Some of these Eastern countries used to be under the communist rule. So therefore, when their political system or of communism actually got destroyed or intellectually destroyed, if you have the facts, you have certain people that they do not like us
Yeah.
from the Eastern countries. It's
Yeah,
not
but
so
in
much
And
Russia.
when you look at like North Korea, where you have to look at the culture of a country as well. When you look at a lot of these Arab countries, their culture is based upon hating us. That's a whole different ball game there. And like I said, like North Koreans, for an example, if you watch documentaries about their culture, you'll see that they are exposed to endless propaganda against Americans. You understand what I'm saying? And that is a whole different ball game of dealing with that group of people than it is, somebody from, I don't know, wherever else. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, because the reason why I'm saying that, Irby, right? I met several Russians who actually live here in the United States that they're cool. Some of them they just do not like Putin because their minds is broad and everything like that. And I've actually spoken to Russians and Ukrainians. But what I'm trying to say is that the former countries that actually used to be under communist bloc, which I'm not even talking about Russia. I'm talking about some of the countries that are Romania and so forth, right? Or some that have a higher population of Muslims, right?
It always goes back to it always goes back to the religious different. Like, that's the
Or
whole point that I'm making, that it always goes back to the religion. It's the people with like the Muslim, you know what I'm saying, backgrounds that want to see us fail. Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
But
it
no,
is.
no, I'm not going to
but
say all people from Muslim backgrounds want to do that, but I'm saying that within like in certain communities, you have certain people who are moderate Muslims, and then you have certain people who are extremist
Of
Muslims.
course. Of
So
course. But
therefore, if
some
you
countries are extremists, is my point. Not every Muslim country is like that, but we have more of an issue with extremist Muslim countries than probably anybody else. That's just reality.
or or we have certain people who have extremist beliefs. So therefore, that's the fear within,
It's the same thing.
yeah, within with people coming in, like who has these extremist beliefs and who doesn't. So it's just it's like a catch-22 at the end of the day.
But why would you let young military aged men flood the border and come in when they could stand up and fight in their own countries for democracy? Is my point. I just want to know what your guys' answer
But
is
All
it's
to
right,
that.
getting
all right.
crazy now.
um,
I was just looking at something on the website, and they're like, you got those Haitians that came here on the border last year. They're suing the state.
Okay, so why are they suing the state, Irby? I'm just asking.
No, because they want to get the same status as the migrants.
I
You're not
mean, yeah, I mean, if you actually look at it, it was like,
because they want them to go. They send them. They're trying to send them back over there. So
yeah, it's,
It's just a
and
bad
it,
situation all the way around. I don't think there's an easy fix for any of us, you know?
yeah, I mean, I could speak for I could speak, right? Because I have a relative who's a migrant who actually came across the border. The next thing you know,
Wait, hold
I
on. When
was,
you say migrant, you mean like illegal?
yes.
Okay, okay.
So my relative, who actually came with his children, he actually took a plane to Honduras, and he actually went, I guess, through the border from Honduras to Mexico, and then came to the United States. So when I saw him on Facebook in Times Square with his wife and his kids, I was like, WTF, how did you get here? He was like, cause no, for real though, because I'm thinking that my cousin is back in the Dominican Republic with his wife
Yeah.
and kids. And then when you see him, when you see
I
my
feel bad about
cousin,
them discriminating against like Dominicans and like even Mexicans and South Americans because we don't have those issues with those cultures, you know, because they can assimilate and they can still like celebrate their own culture and still like celebrate American culture. Unfortunately, that's why I said it always seems to kind of come back to the religious aspect of things for whatever reason, you know?
yeah, it is
Well,
because
okay, as a person that do have religious affiliation, so to speak. Okay.
right,
Okay, one thing to bear in mind, you have, and I'm going to speak as a Christian because that's who I am. You have you have moderate Christians, you have conservative Christians, you have fundamentalist Christians, and then you have Christians that are so extreme, like extreme to the point that this should be a Christian nationalized nation and things of that nature. And some of them are the most intolerant people around. It's the same thing with whether it be with Muslims. You have Muslims that are, they're reasonable, and then you have Muslims that are basically super uber extreme. Okay, unfortunately, it's the extreme ones they get the most attention, and it's the same thing with the Christians. It is the extreme Christians that get the most attention. While most of us, I mean, basically, we just want to get along and be able to practice our faith without any interference or telling us that we're wrong.
Yeah, just like, moderate Muslims as well.
Mhm.
I totally understand and respect that as well. Unfortunately, when you have nations though that are intolerant, it just makes it hard to decipher who it's safe to let in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
that's why we need to vet these people and use proper discernment, because not everyone is.
I agree. I agree with that on Don Jose because if you really look at it, right? Because most of the Muslims that I've ever met in my life, I even got a cousin who actually converted to Islam. So my thing is that most of the Muslims that I know, they're actually moderate and they're nice. They're actually hardworking and everything like that. And then I've met Christians too, who are extremists. Some of them who are moderate and everything like that. So I guess it actually depends on the person and everything like that. Because me myself, I'm a Christian, and I could actually say that you have certain people that will expound their beliefs on what they believe, and you have certain people who will expound the beliefs of what they do not believe.
But I
I
ain't gonna
would
lie to you.
add though that just because a person is nice doesn't necessarily mean anything. I have a guy from my job who's from Jordan, from Gaza, and he is probably one of the nicest people that you can meet. But if you ask him about Hamas, which is a internationally known terrorist group, he sympathizes with them. So just because a person is nice doesn't necessarily mean that they don't sympathize with terrorist groups.
Right, but
Yeah.
the thing is though, sometimes what certain people don't understand is that, okay, they might sympathize with terrorist groups, or you have certain people that might sympathize with the various groups because either of their religious or
Yes.
ethnic upbringing and such. So therefore,
Yeah.
just because they sympathize with them doesn't mean that, okay, that they're gonna be right there. They just sympathize with them because, because maybe they feel that they have the same struggle religiously or whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to respond to Jose about the how Christian extremism and Islamic extremism. I don't want to sound offensive or anything, but I do think the intolerance comes from Muslim is a little bit crazier
Next
and worse.
level.
Yeah, then 'cause yes, you may find some of them may want to try to fight against abortion or pray in school, or some of the radical Christian, but some of the extremist Muslims, they're like
They
try
want
to
to see
kill
us
you.
dead. Yeah.
They want to try to kill you if you draw like a cartoon of Muhammad or something.
And also too, when you think about extremist Christian groups, those are usually like more so from the past. The extremist Christian groups right now in our current times don't have power like that. We have to be honest about that as well. Okay.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
ones that you see that are just against gay people so much and they're just like hateful and stuff, like they really don't have power like that to actually make any type of societal change.
And they're not coddled. Some political one of the political parties in this country coddled, make excuses for them.
Yeah, there is none of that for Christianity, because Christianity, we're allowed to mock Christianity, we're allowed to put down Christianity, we're allowed to do all those things. You don't have to worry about people killing you for that. But you could say the wrong opinion about some of these other religions and find yourself dead.
Mhm.
or sued like a
Yeah,
religion.
like the Jews, but I don't want to get your.
No. We're not talking about them. We're talking about another faith that if you mention them in a bad light, they will actually have lawyers and come and sue you.
Oh, like
Or-
Scientologists and stuff like that.
Dumb. That's what I
Yeah.
meant to say without
Mhm.
saying dumb.
Yeah.
But then
My bad.
because they might try to go around and hit me with the suit. So
They
therefore,
might,
that's
they
what I'm
might
saying.
show up at your door, Don.
Or I might get a letter of well, you just our religion or something like that. I'm like,
But
yeah.
those are not Christian groups. Let's be very, very clear. Those
Yeah,
are secular
but
groups.
those are the financially
Financially
protected groups,
backed.
the financially protected groups,
Yes.
religious groups. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes.
This is not disrespecting anybody, but y'all are financially protected to the point that if we even talk about you bad, we have to make sure of two things: A, that we're not American citizens, and then two, we don't live in America. Because I've seen a lot of documentaries that they actually talk bad about that
I've seen them
financially.
too, and they follow them. They just knock on their doors. They're creepy as fuck. Yeah, I've seen them.
And they actually go around and spy on you. So therefore,
And they have high positions in government and finance, and they can they work in banks, and yeah, it can get really ugly for you coming against them. Absolutely.
yeah, because it was like, for example, you have certain people that actually left that group, right? And then on top of it, they'll be like, okay, we're gonna go around and make sure that you don't do this or you went up and you dissed our Hollywood protected group. So therefore, we're gonna go around and send anything. So there's certain stuff that I do not agree with. And when I actually read some books, I'm like, no. So it's like, and that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to
be
do
careful with
that.
the religious talk.
Yeah, because they might.
I'm
Because
on
the next thing you know,
Don, thank you so much for allowing me
Anytime.
to come show you some support, and it was really nice talking to you guys. I'm gonna let my phone get some charge. I'll see you guys a little bit later. I'll see you on your stream, Jose. And thank
Alright.
you, Don. Bye, y'all.
anytime.
So
I'm gonna go to the chat.
okay. I'm going to be leaving as well because I have a stream coming up at 8:15.
All right.
And if I can just speak about it a little bit. Basically, I'm going to be addressing a lot of the mistakes people make when it comes to knee replacement procedures, basically before and after, because you'd be surprised some mistakes people make. Now, I've been fortunate that I've gone through 2 knee replacements and I haven't made any of those mistakes. But I know people that have done these mistakes, and it just makes the whole process bad or worse. And being there, and being, I'm gonna have to undergo a revised knee replacement. So this is relevant for me as well. And this is like a reminder. And just that, it's a scary thing. But the thing is, you need to educate yourself what you need to do. You need to follow the instructions given to you by your medical staff. And then once you do that, it's not going to be as stressful otherwise.
Right.
So thank you very much for allowing me on your platform. Shout out to everyone on the chat. Hopefully I'll see some of you either live or on the playback. So have a good evening, Don Armando.
I might come through your stream too, because I'm about to wrap this up.
Okay, thank you. So we'll see you soon. Take care.
All right, sir. Well, I guess this has been an interesting topic and everything. So, check me out tomorrow. And we're going to actually talk about history and such. So stay tuned and peace.